Hey everyone, this is Phil from The Cubicle, and today we're going to be looking at the ShengShou Wind. This is a 3x3 designed by popular big cube maker ShengShou. They're most known for making the 4x4 and the 5x5. They are great cubes, and this is their take on a 3x3. So this cube can be found at thecubicle.us. I will have a link in the description for your convenience. Let's take a look at the cube out of the box. I noticed that it doesn't reverse corner cut very well, and it corner cuts quite well. Hopefully this will improve with some lubing and tensioning. Aside from that, the movement is very smooth, and it's actually very good out of the box. There seems to be a lot of contact on the inside, so the pieces run over each other, and there doesn't seem to be a popping issue with this cube. Yeah, so out of the box, this cube is really good, especially for a cube that's not lubed or tensioned or anything, just taken out of the box. It performs great. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the cube apart and lube it and check its performance afterwards. But before I do that, let me show you guys the mechanism. Alright, so in order to open the cube up, you actually have to loosen one of the faces before pulling the pieces out, because I noticed that it's pretty hard to just yank the piece out, which could be because of an anti-popping mechanism. We'll check that out once we open the cube up. So I've loosened it, and now I can pretty easily pull the piece out. And here's an edge piece. It has a track here. I'll bring it closer to the camera. You can see it. This bump is, I'll just call it a track. This idea has been used in previous cubes, most notably the Alpha cube. I believe it's the Alpha 2 or A2. That was in use in about 2009, and they had these edge tracks. And this cube seems to have brought that back. And the edge track is elevated, so it stands up, and the corner piece sits on top of it and slides along the track. So I don't think there's much contact between the base of the piece. The corner piece is elevated on top of the track. And as you can see, the center piece also has a track, as you can see here, also down here, and it forms this really interesting looking circle where the pieces revolve around. They travel on top of this circle, and this circle is apparent here as well. So there's just many circles of tracks in there, and I think this is what gives it that smooth feeling. The pieces just glide over the track, and you can see that this track is not it's not just a bump that comes out. It actually tapers off over here on the side. Let me see if I can bring it up. So it tapers off on the side here. So it's more like a bump than just a flat piece of plastic sitting on top of the edge piece. I thought that was really interesting. And this is the corner piece. The corner piece has a very small stock compared to Diane cubes, and the body of the corner piece, or the cubie, is extremely big. And it also has this triangular base at the bottom. This is what you see in their big cube designs, and I think this base is what causes the cube to, or the cubies to stay in place. So this cube, even at a loose tension, the triangular base can stay inside the confines of this area, and because it's so large, it doesn't dislodge. So it's actually pretty cool to hang the cube like this. But that's the anti-popping mechanism, and of course the edges have tabs over here that are extended, that jut out, that also fit inside this little area over here. So actually, let's take more of the cube apart and take a look at its core, and we'll see how it works inside. So I'm going to take off the centerpiece and take a look at it. Alright, so this cube does not have washers, but instead I'll show you the spring over here, as you can see, there is a greater density of spring coiling on the right side, and this is the side that comes into contact with the center. So this could act as a surrogate washer. That's just my best guess, trying to figure out why it doesn't have washers, but it doesn't seem like it needs it because it rotates very well and there's no grinding. So it just goes in like your typical 3x3 centerpiece plus screw. And as you can see, this is a pretty normal core. There's nothing wild about this core. And you can see the full circle track. It's pretty cool. Looks very futuristic. And this screw has a really nice unthreaded tip. You can see right here. And this allows it to go inside before you screw it in to ensure that it's straight. And of course, when you're assembling the cube, I find it's best to just not screw it in all the way, but just screw it in so it doesn't come out, and then put the pieces in. As you can see, it's kind of difficult to put the pieces in. But once you put the pieces in, you can further tighten the tension to something you like, because it becomes harder and harder to put the pieces in if you leave it at really tight tension. So let me try to build. Okay, did I do this right? Yes. All right, and it's very loose at the top, so when you're done, just screw it in the full way, and then you have a working tensions. And this cap, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. This cap is it's a pretty normal cap. There are grooves on two sides, not all four, but two sides of the center. And so if you wanted to take the center apart, you just push your nail under the groove and it comes out. And these center caps seem to be identical to corner caps. Let's see if I can take one out. The corners have caps. They're extremely difficult to take out. I don't think they're meant to be forced out, but yeah, the corners have caps as well. And as you can see, it was really difficult for me to take it out. They're not meant to be dislodged, and this seems identical to the center cap, so if you wanted to, you could switch it for fun. But they seem to be the same thing, and you know, my experience playing with this cube, I've never had any issue with the caps falling out. Like, even if you drop the cube, like, nothing is disturbed and no caps fall out. So that's the mechanism. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lube the black puzzle, and we're going to take a look at how the cube moves after lubing. Alright, so I'm back with this black puzzle. I lubed and tensioned it, and I'm ready to play with it. And as you can see or hear, it's very quiet. And it still feels like it's the same cube, but it feels very different. It's much smoother and quieter than its out-of-box counterpart. You can hear. Right, and its corner cutting has definitely improved, as you can see from here. It has treble cutting like this, and over here it cuts line to line. So lubing definitely helps. The thing with the reverse cutting, though, is that it's very limited. So I think anything more than this will cause the corner piece to get stuck on top of the center piece, which is what happens with most cubes anyway, but this seems to have slightly less reverse corner cutting, that is, than Diane cubes. It has the same or arguably even more this way. This is line to line, and it does it very easily. So overall, this cube is very controllable, and it's very pleasant to play with. It makes cubing really fun because it's so smooth and so easy to move, and at the same time it never overshoots, so it's very easy to control. If I were to compare this cube with a past cube that's already on the market, I would say this is similar to a cross between an F2 and a Ghost Hand. Those are kind of old cubes, but this has the same bubbly kind of feel, but at the same time it feels like the Ghost Hand in the sense that it's very quiet, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of scratching or interference inside the cube that that causes the cube to be clicky or scratchy or anything. So that's what it feels like to me. Aside from that, the cube moves pretty well, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, because it's a very unique feel, and I can't really think of anything that feels exactly like this, though the Ghost Hand and the F2 come the closest. Alright, so now it's time to answer the question, who is this cube for? First and foremost, I feel this cube is very good for beginners and intermediates. Many people also have said this. I will offer my own reasoning for this. The first thing I feel that is this cube is very good out of the box, so it's very low maintenance, and if you're a beginner, that's a real lifesaver because you don't need to worry about your hardware so much. You know, just pull the cube out of the box and start cubing, and it's really, really good out of the box, as you can see. It's much better than a Diane cube. Out of the box, it moves smooth, and there's no grinding or awkward clicking. So this cube is really, really nice out of the box. So if anyone's just looking for a cube to use, as soon as they pull it out of the box, this cube is a very good candidate. In addition to beginners and intermediates, this cube is really nice for anyone who really likes the soft and smooth feel. This cube really delivers in that department. It's very controllable and very smooth, and obviously these factors also contribute to why beginners would really appreciate this puzzle, because not only is it, you know, very easy to work with out of the box, but it doesn't overturn and it doesn't give you anything funny. It's a very, very normal, very solid cube. And speaking of solidity, this is also a really good cube if you want to just bring a cube out with you. I know sometimes I bring a cube, I leave it in my backpack for school, or bring a cube to work, or just have a cube lying around. And this is a very good candidate for that, because it's a very affordable cube, and at the same time, it doesn't pop. It has a very nice feeling, and it's very simple in design, so I think in that respect, this cube is also good. So to sum it up, I think beginners and intermediates would really like this. At the same time, anybody who likes the smooth and soft and controlled feeling would enjoy this. And also, if you're just looking for a cube to bring with you, or any just 3x3, you know, you want something to just lie around, I think this is a really good candidate, because it's overall a very solid cube, and it has no obvious flaws or issues. Alright, so let's end with some closing thoughts. The first thing I want to mention is how surprised I was by this puzzle. I have long known ShengShou as a producer of big cubes, and their big cubes are kind of clicky and sometimes scratchy out of the box, and this cube just defied all my expectations. Of course, that could just be because big cubes are inherently clicky because of their mechanism, but this cube was just so smooth and so easy to move and so good out of the box that it just felt completely different. But you could still tell that ShengShou made the cube because of its piece design, and so it's really nice to see ShengShou make something feel so smooth and something so soft. And it really gives us hope that someday they could perhaps make more 3x3s, or perhaps make 4x4s that feel like this. The other thing was that this feeling was just very unique and very special, and I can't really think of a cube that feels exactly like this. And so in that respect, I feel this cube was, they did a very good job with this cube. I feel the cube's biggest weakness is its limited reverse corner cutting. We live in an age now where we expect a lot from our cubes, especially with the die-in cubes running around, with the you know, the piece-to-piece, the line-to-line corner cutting, which this cube can do, but the half-a-piece corner cutting reverse, which this cube has a little bit of trouble with. So I feel that the limited corner cutting is the biggest drawback, and of course this cube's largest strengths are its solidity and its softness and its smoothness and its consistency. For something so simple, I feel this cube does a very good job. Just to show you guys the mechanism once again, it's just a piece. You know, there's no fancy torpedo, there's no fancy grooves or anything jutting out at strange angles, and this corner piece also looks like a very rational, simple corner piece. And to get away with such smoothness just by having such simple pieces, I feel like it's a very nice design, and it shows that you don't need, you know, just super futuristic looking pieces to achieve a really nice feel. So I feel like they did a really good job with the design, and I feel that, you know, I have a really high confidence in ShengShou making 3x3s, which is something people didn't really, I guess, consider before. So my final words would be, this is a pretty good puzzle. I can see myself doing two-handed on it. I think it's a little big for one-handed, but you know, especially if I'm trying to do slow solves or just trying to calm turn, I feel like I may grab this cube a lot, and it's a very nice puzzle. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on YouTube, Facebook, Speed Solving, or through our website. Again, this cube can be found at the cubicle.us. A link in the description for your convenience will be provided. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.